What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Devil's in the Details. I'm BD, and man, do I have a hot topic for you today. I have recently found out that a Hellboy reboot is currently in production, and all I can think is
Great. All right.
Titled Hellboy, formerly subtitled Rise of the Blood Queen, the R-rated film's release date is slated for January 11, 2019. Cast as the occult-battling, well-meaning half-demon is David Harbour. Harbour, who's currently enjoying an extremely successful run on Stranger Things, currently airing on Netflix, said that he was excited by the concept to make a real monster movie that's dark and scary about the end of the world. Neil Marshall, who's best known for some of Game of Thrones' best episodes, is attached to direct. Marshall had also previously expressed interest in doing a solo Black Widow movie for Marvel Studios. With Marshall in as director, many fans were left wondering what happened to Guillermo del Toro, not to mention Ron Perlman, who had portrayed Hellboy in both theatrical films. Although the frequent collaborators tweeted and interviewed with all their might to will a third film into existence, ultimately, Hellboy creator Mike Mignola opted to relaunch the franchise with a new director and star. Perlman and del Toro seem to have made peace with it. In an interview with CinemaBlend, the director wished Harbour well in assuming the mantle, saying that he likes him and although he's not involved in the movie, he does wish them luck. Perlman, on the other hand, who, let's face it, was perfect as the snarky, cigar-chomping half-demon superhero, wasn't bitter, and although all of the rallying to get a third film done ended up proving to be a waste of time, it still must have stung a little bit. Perlman went on to say that he was a fan of Harbour, and that he wished him nothing but the best when it came to the retooling of Hellboy. Harbour, who's always been a huge fan of Perlman and has always admired his work, got in touch with him when the news broke, and asked if he would like to have dinner with him. Harbour had one of his friends, Patton Oswalt, host the dinner. Harbour did ask Perlman if he had any tips on playing Old Red.
He was like, well, make sure you have some fun, man. You're playing Hellboy. And I was like, that's really good advice, Ron. That's like exactly what I need to hear, so.
Ian McShane is set to take up the mantle as Trevor Brutenholm, or Professor Broom, a role previously filled by John Hurt in the 2008 adaptation of the comic book. And Mila Jovovich has been cast to play the evil witch sorceress Nimue, also referred to as the Blood Queen. So who is Hellboy? Well, Hellboy was created by writer-artist Mike Mignola. His first appearance was in Dime Press Magazine number 4 in March of 1993, where he graced the cover. His second appearance, which was his first full Hellboy appearance in black and white, was in the San Diego Comic-Con Comics number 2 later in August of that same year. And his very first appearance in color was in a regularly published Dark Horse title called Next Men number 21 in December of '93. Hellboy, whose true name is Anung Unrama, which translated means, well, many different things depending on the language you want to use to translate it with, but for Mignola's definition of it, it would mean, upon his brow is set a crown of flame. Hellboy was born on October 5th, 1617. His mother was Sarah Hughes, a witch who gained her powers from being a consort of the demon Azael, a duke of hell who is Hellboy's biological father. Azael took Sarah's body to hell when she attempted to repent on her deathbed within a church in East Bromwich, England. Azael burned her away so their child would be born, and chopped off the newborn's right hand to replace it with the right hand of doom. The hand itself is a key or catalyst. It originally belonged to a spiritual being known as Anum, which used it to create the dragon Ogdru Jahad. After binding the dragon, Anum was slain and destroyed except for his right hand. The hand possesses powers capable of bringing about the end of the world. It isn't necessary for the hand to be attached to Hellboy to be used. Even on its own, it can perform its tasks. However, it has been suggested that since being grafted to Hellboy, it's thought that if Hellboy dies while the hand is attached to him, it would become useless. Hellboy has come to the conclusion that the only way to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands is to keep it and protect it. Hellboy is eventually summoned to Earth by Nazi occultists and the mad monk Grigory Rasputin on Ptarmigan Island off the coast of Scotland. Having been commissioned by the Nazis to change the tide of a losing war, as a direct result of this ritual, the child appears on Earth in a fireball at what remained of the ruined Bromwich Church on December 23, 1944. Proving not to be a devil in the traditional sense, but a devil-like creature, the child was dubbed Hellboy by Professor Trevor Brutenholm. Taken by the United States Armed Forces to an Air Force base in New Mexico, Hellboy was raised by Professor Broom in the United States Army. Broom raised him as any normal child would be raised, and this is where his relationship to the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense began. Due to the success of his first mission in 1952, Hellboy was granted honorary human status by the United Nations and became a full member of the BPRD. He actually becomes the primary agent for the BPRD, alongside other humans and quasi-human agents that include Abe Sapien, an amphibian humanoid, and Liz Sherman, a young pyrokinetic. Hellboy ages very differently from humans. His rapid physical maturation is in contrast to his actual rate of aging. He ages much slower than humans. As an adult, having matured physically, he still retains a teenaged mind.
Yeah, 60 years old by our count, but he doesn't age like we do. Think reverse dog years. He's barely out of his 20s.
Hellboy's powers are not limited to decelerated aging either. He has a superhuman endurance, capable of withstanding wounds that would be fatal to ordinary humans without being incapacitated, as well as recovering from injury at an incredible rate. He's been shown to withstand great impact forces, high caliber bullets, and falls from great heights. He also possesses a thermal resistance. Thanks to his demonic heritage, Hellboy's body is quite resistant against high temperatures and fire without feeling discomfort. He's resilient, if not immune to heat or burns, and even electrocution.
I'm fireproof. You're not.
He also has enhanced sight and can see further than the average human. The extent of his strength remains unclear, but he has been known to fling 500-pound objects without breaking a sweat. Not much about the upcoming film has been released yet. So far, there's only been one official image and also one released by Harbour himself. I'm definitely liking the new look. Hellboy is wearing his hair down as opposed to in a ponytail. His sanded down horns seem to be larger than in the previous movies, and that is most likely his traditional BPRD jacket, although I don't see the logo on it. Another obvious observation is the amazing physical transformation that Harbour has gone through to portray the character. Harbour went through an intense training program with Don Saladino. It remains to be seen if this R-rated film will be successful or not. Hellboy is not considered to be a mainstream comic book character, but then again, neither was Deadpool. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, liking, and subscribing. Thank you to our generous patron supporters. If you have any comments and would like to share, please leave them in the comments section down below. I look forward to hearing from you. This episode was brought to you by Delta Alpha 82. I'll be back next Friday.
Cut, wrap, we're done.
I know him.
Who?
Hellboy.
You know Hellboy.
Yes.
No, you don't.
I'm friends with him.
No, you're not.
I was friends with his father.
No, you weren't.
I'm telling you, he's been over for dinner.
You're so full of